Hello, and welcome to the Tyra Hill Show. I am your leading lady, Tyra Hill, and today we're talking coochie conversation. So, if you are under the age of 16, you don't want to join this conversation unless you're with a parent. But 16 and over, my young queens, my seasoned queens, I need for us to get into this conversation. I want to have this conversation because there are so many myths out there on how to take care of your vagina. So I thought it would be phenomenal to bring in a VTox specialist. She goes by the name of Nakea Murray. She is the owner and CEO of VTox Spa in Philadelphia. Nakea, welcome.
Thank you, Tyra. It is so good to be back with you.
Listen. I am so excited about this conversation, but you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
And what a day to wear pink since we're talking about coochie.
All things V today.
All things V today. Listen, I am excited about this conversation for a number of reasons. But I don't think you might have found out before we went live, that today is my season finale for season 2. This is going to be a phenomenal show, and I'm excited about this.
I'm ready.
Tell the viewers a little bit about who you are.
Well, I am the principal physician over at VTox Intimate Health and Wellness, and we specialize in nature-based feminine hygiene as well as vaginal and pelvic steaming treatments.
Okay. Now that was a lot, because if you're on TikTok, if you're on social media,
You see it.
you see it, but you also see a lot of misinformation out there.
Absolutely.
And so before we dig deep into this conversation, I want to talk about, and I said I want to have fun today, but it's going to be serious, but we're still going to have fun.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about that red bag that we used to see on the back of our mother's door.
Oh, the D word.
The D word.
The D word.
Yes.
So douching is not a good thing. We're not going to do any forceful irrigation to the vaginal canal.
Okay.
That's going to disrupt your natural flora, and that is a bad thing.
And I wondered for years, because I think everybody has probably saw those things in the back of their mother's bathroom.
Absolutely. Or the commercials.
For years, it wasn't until I became an adult that I found out that the vagina naturally douches itself.
Yeah, it's a naturally cleansing situation, but so is your colon.
Okay.
Sometimes you need help.
Okay.
So that's where I come in.
Okay, so if we were to do a healthy douche, what would that consist of? What would that look like?
Well, I am not for forceful irrigation of the vaginal canal.
Okay.
I'm all for vulva washing, the external portion of the vaginal area, as well as steaming. So some call it V-steaming, some call it pelvic steaming, some call it vaginal steaming. That is a way to cleanse without any forceful irrigation.
Okay, we're going to get into the steaming later.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about that. So when we talk healthy vagina, honey, queen.
Listen.
Child, as old folks will say, child. I've seen it all on social media, Nakea. From bleach on down to dish detergent.
Tyra, it's been a long time since we spoke.
Yes.
And I was just right at the beginning of building this out.
You
Before
were.
I had a location. Steaming, nature-based hygiene was not being talked about.
No.
It was not. It
you,
was very
you
hard.
are a trendsetter.
Trendsetter.
You are a trendsetter because when I first met you, it was probably over 5 or 6 years ago. I know it's been years since we've seen each other. And to even piggyback on our conversations back then, you were so knowledgeable and helped me out a lot because I thought I knew.
Thank you.
You know,
and you did your first steam.
And I did my first yoni steam and loved it.
I remember it was around your anniversary.
It was. And I loved it. And I'm telling y'all, it was the best sex I had ever had after that steam.
Come on, girl.
And the orgasms.
Come on.
Yes. So
increased circulation will always do the trick.
Yes. And so I know I said I was going to get into the yoni steams later, but since we're talking about the yoni steams,
let's go.
Let's get into it. For me, I was a person who suffered with endometriosis. Okay. And endometriosis is when you have scar tissue, and you're not able to, and other things, but you're not able to have a normal period.
Because the endometrial lining is growing in other parts of the body.
Yes. And so I was the chick who stayed on my period for 10 days. And I would be sick. My first 5 days were my horrible days. Fatigue, not able to eat, not able to function. And so
it disrupts your life in the household.
Right. But when it came to the doctors, and sex was horrible and painful. And when it came to the doctors, they were all like, surgery, 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 surgery. Nobody gave me a natural remedy or a solution. And so it wasn't until I spoke with you, I'm like, gosh, I wish somebody would have taught me about the ancestors and the yoni steams. Let's talk about where the yoni steam came from.
So this is a centuries-old technique of using herbs, water, and heat to create a medicinal vapor that is absorbed through the vaginal canal. And that is how the medicinal properties are delivered into the bloodstream, literally in a couple minutes.
Okay. Now let me say this. I've seen where spas allow for women to come in. And they get to kind of say, well, this is going on with me, because different herbs do different things. Am I correct?
That is correct. We have a full herb bar. It's BYOV at VTox, okay?
BYOV.
Bring your own vagina.
Oh, I love it.
Full herb bar in the office. We customize everything.
Okay. So let's just say, hypothetically, I'm coming in and I suffer from endometriosis. What would you do for me?
We're going to do wound healing herbs for you. Also, anti-inflammatory herbs.
Okay.
Also, when you deal with heavy bleeding, that can tend to throw off your pH. So we're going to make sure that we're doing antibacterial, antifungal herbs to make sure that we're regulating things.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't walk out feeling like $1 million.
Well, I felt like $1 million after my first, because you gave me my first VTox stem.
Yeah. And you easily did it at home. A lot of people don't realize that.
I'm gonna give you guys her information. I promise you, I'm not gonna end this show without making sure you connect with the VTox Queen. If I walked in and the doctor said that I was infertile and having kids were not in my future, what would you do for me?
That is a very tricky slope. And I try to make sure that I do not promise anything to anyone. But in 2022, we had 13 V-steam babies.
Wow.
We sure did.
Wow.
We sure did. I find a lot of women are not necessarily infertile. Sometimes they're just having problems. A doctor's not told them they're infertile, but sometimes they end up having sex at the wrong time. They don't know their ovulation. Sometimes their body mechanics are just not working on time with the rhythm. You can only get pregnant during certain times of the month. Okay. So that is what I personally find.
Now, let's say someone comes into you, a queen comes into you, and she's anemic, and she has rough cycles. Getting her iron levels up, because that was even my story and my daughter's story. Okay. So one of the reasons why I started steaming was heavy bleeding, but also chronic infection. My daughter was pretty much bleeding to death. That is what led to all of this. It is important that you have to see a doctor to get diagnosed. How you decide to treat is what's subjective. So that's how we went with it. So I want to make sure that they are taking iron supplements and also iron-rich foods, as well as herbs that are going to help supplement. So what other cases have you seen? Because I'm sure that my mind can't fathom them all, but I'm sure it's all types of women from every background and ethnicity and religious beliefs and sexual preferences, right? So
we get it all.
Can you share some of the things, like different cases that you've seen with the yoni bar that you help treat, fibroid tumors maybe?
Through steaming. Through steaming, yes. Helping a person get their womb healthy has been a mission of mine. Fibroids are not going to go away strictly by steaming.
Absolutely.
Fibroids are something that is a lifestyle situation. So you have to make sure diet is different.
I was going to talk about that. And let's pin it right there about the diet.
Yes.
One of the things when you're younger, Nakea, we eat reckless.
Oh, yeah.
We eat pastas and breads.
The
And
teens and tweens are having such a tough time right now with the heavy bleeding and cramping because of their diets. Sugar, caffeine, the way we manage stress. These are things that are passed down. So fibroids aren't genetically linked.
Right.
They're lifestyle linked.
Okay. And so that proves my point even better because you know I'm on this healthy journey. Right.
Well, you're looking fabulous.
Thank you, sweetheart. So do you. Thank you, girl. I'll take that, honey. Because let me tell you something.
You losing, I'm gaining a check.
Listen. Let me tell you something. That's because you're not chasing behind an 88-year-old golden girl, honey. Get you an 88-year-old golden girl. You'll be losing weight too, honey. But I wanted to say, Grandma, I love you. I'm sorry for talking about you, but you know you give me the blues, in a good way. I wanted to talk about that diet because when we don't treat our bodies right, when we don't put the vegetables and the fruits in it, and then our
minerals,
vitamins,
yeah,
and the water,
and the water, baby.
What is it about water? Because I used to be like that. I hated water.
People don't like the way it tastes.
And I got older.
Necessary hydration is key.
Yeah, because your pH balance and strong urine odor, and
you shouldn't be leaving your coochie in the bathroom.
Yes.
When you leave.
A
lot of that comes from urine. The urine is too strong. Lack of hydration.
Lack of hydration. And so when we're dealing with our nieces, and it's not just the young girls. Let me be extremely clear. Nakea, look into your camera and say, it's just not the young girls.
It's not just the young girls.
It's women our age and older. My mother's age and my grandmother's age.
Well, medication is key. With odor. That's what I find with the older ladies. Medication. Coming through their pores. Hydration, again, very important.
Right.
Also, the way that they cleanse. They're using body soaps for all over. They're not using something that is made for the vulva area. So if you're using Cam-A or some type of Colgate wash to do your whole body, no.
And another thing that they should be doing, and a lot of women don't realize, is you should have 2 washcloths.
Absolutely. Or no washcloth for the vaginal area. You can use a washcloth in the back, but in your vaginal area, clean hands.
Clean hands. Okay. See, I just learned that. And the reason why I said 2 washcloths is because
you don't want to transfer bacteria.
Well, yeah. But some women don't know that.
Yep. And they deal with chronic BV, chronic yeast, chronic UTIs.
And so let's get into them UTIs. Let me tell you, I hate them. Because, again, I'm dealing with an 88-year-old golden girl. And those UTIs have been so prevalent in my grandmother.
Is she wearing undergarments?
Yes.
That's the culprit. That's the culprit, too. The chemicals that are in those undergarments that singers wear, that bladder control, can easily disrupt.
No. Okay, so we're going to talk about that off camera. But I want to talk about undergarments. Because, you know, I don't like to wear panties.
Well,
I'm just being honest.
And there's no judgment, right? So if you decide to wear panties, they should be a cotton crotch.
Okay, so let's get into that. A cotton crotch. Now, see, y'all mind ran. I wear Spanx. I don't like to wear panties.
Then at least wear a cotton panty liner.
Okay. All right, come on through.
Yep, cotton panty liner. Because that lining of the Spanx is not breathable. Okay. You need oxygen.
Okay. Even if it got the little hole up in there, I still need oxygen.
You need something to protect from that friction as well.
I'm learning. And we're all going to learn together. Right. So they sell cotton panty liners?
Yes, they do. We offer them in our spa.
You do?
We offer them on our website. Yes, we do.
Okay. Because, but see, this is what happens. Because when I go to your website, I'm only checking for the yoni steam. Because you know what I'm checking for. Right? Right?
I know.
Right? So I really have to go onto your website and really, really, really look, because usually time you know what I want, so you would just send it, but I really do. I'm doing myself a disservice.
Anything that a person would want in the feminine hygiene aisle, I have done my best to make a nature-based version.
Okay. So when we talk about the nature, and it's so funny how nature literally takes care of the earth, right? Truly. I mean, but I said it because
pharmaceuticals.
We don't let our mind wrap our minds around how nature is a healing mechanism from the sun to vitamin D. You get what I'm saying? And so I think about it. I have a whole bunch of nieces, Nakea, who are struggling with heavy periods, heavy cycles. And every time she comes on, she has a headache.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm asking them, like, what type of pads are you using?
Absolutely. They need to be using a nature-based pad. Organic cotton would be ideal. Chemical-free would be ideal. And don't be fooled, because some of these brands that have been doing harm have come out with what people think are natural pads. But we have a full line.
Let's talk about that.
A full line.
They
feel different.
Let's talk about
that. They smell different. You know, even ours, they are herb-based.
Okay.
To make sure anything you put up against or inside your vagina, including tampons, cups, any type of device, you want to make sure that it's healthy for your body.
Make sure that
otherwise you're doing yourself a disservice.
Okay, so when, and it's crazy because I know nowadays things have come so far. And I get excited about it. I feel like I'm telling my age because I'm like, well, I didn't have that when I was coming up.
It's okay, girl. I'm right with you.
Right. But we have, nowadays, we have maxi pads that are natural.
Yes.
And that has like mint in them to help with.
To help cool down body temperature. Because your body temperature in the vaginal area can escalate. And that can make you more susceptible to infection or irritation. Yep.
Child. Let's talk about the yeast infections.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria. And I know a lot of times, I used to suffer from yeast infections a lot.
And a lot of times women will suffer from yeast, BV, and UTIs simultaneously. And a lot of it comes from the pharmaceuticals that they are using to treat one or the other.
And that's what I wanted to say, because when I did suffer from yeast infections, I wasn't educated on a healthy vagina. So I was douching.
Well, you also need a healthy gut. So yeast starts in the gut.
Right. The diet was
either
poor.
There, it's either there or it's not. So before it goes vaginally, it's in your digestive tract, it's under your breast, it may be under your arms, it may be in your scalp. It travels. Yeast loves warmth, comfort, moisture, so it's going to go wherever those areas are in your body.
Whoa. Yeast can go to your head and to your breast and under your arms.
Yeah.
What?
You can get a yeast infection right underneath of your breast, especially if you're very chesty. Perfect environment. Under your arms, in your scalp. Easy. See people always scratching, digging in their scalp? Sometimes it's yeast. Yep. And you can tell because when you shampoo it, they'll almost have a creamy residue on their scalp.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like a discharge.
Fungus can easily grow on the scalp, and yeast is fungus.
Lord have mercy. I'm learning, y'all.
Athlete's feet on your feet. Men can get yeast infections too.
Well, I wanted to talk about that.
In their groin area, they get jock itch. That's a fungal infection.
So let's go down the list of things besides the diet and hygiene that may cause yeast infections.
Alcohol.
Okay.
Big culprit.
So
beer,
listen,
wine.
If you out on the weekend turning up and all you doing is taking shots, do say this and 19, 20, or 40 that, hydrate, because alcohol. What else, Nakea?
I say too many drinks will make your coochie stink. Girl.
But you know what? Why we sound like our grandparents and our mamas? Because do you ever remember your mama or your grandmama saying, ain't nothing worse than a drunk woman? You're just
for
sloppy. You're just sloppy. And my big mama would say, yeah, probably stank too. So, girl, yeah. No.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, too many drinks will make your coochie stink. Okay.
Absolutely. Too many sweets. Emotional eating.
Okay.
That is a big thing, especially during this pandemic. You know, just wanting comfort food. So starches, sugar. Also, the wrong type of sanitary products.
Okay.
Or the wrong types of soaps and washes. I mean, my Fresh Bar, the Clean Coochie foam, they have been staples before it was for you guys. It was for me.
Right. You tested everything out on yourself and your daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, unprotected sex can be the culprit. Sometimes, if the fellas are not circumcised, that can cause recurring yeast in women.
What?
Yeah. Because they have to cleanse properly too and pull back that foreskin and really get down to business. If they don't, they will continuously pass yeast.
Oh my. So
and other bacteria.
We said alcohol, unprotected sex,
absolutely,
diet,
sanitary products, hygiene products.
Can we talk? We missed one, and this is the one that only the people really, really know. The tight jeans.
Oh, absolutely. Lack of circulation. It goes back to the warmth, the moisture, and constriction. So these can easily build.
Ooh, so when we talk yeast infection, you can go to any supermarket and you will see their medication lined up on the shelves.
Yes.
Are there any natural remedies?
Probiotics. Yogurt. Things that are going to increase good bacteria.
Okay.
Because bad bacteria can multiply very quickly. Okay. Good bacteria is harder to replace. So you want to protect that at all costs.
Okay. So yeah, I've heard yogurt.
You can even do kombucha drinks. Yeah.
Okay. I told y'all we was gonna get into it today and talk about it.
We're not playing today.
We're not playing today.
I doubt that they'll have any questions after this.
Right. Because I wanted to talk about it now. You talked about briefly for a second on how to clean your vagina.
Yeah, because we're not really cleaning the vaginal canal, right? So we have a difference. We have the vaginal canal, which is from the outside world up to the cervix and uterus, right? The vulva area is your outer lying area. So that's going to be your urethra, your inner and outer labia, as well as your clitoris, and the vaginal opening. That is the vulva area that's going to be cleansed. You're not cleansing the inside.
Okay.
And that's what gets a lot of misconception. Okay. So you're not taking soap and a rag and going up in there and going to town. We're going into the folds, and we're going to make sure that we lather up and cleanse. Water just can't do.
Water just can't do.
There is so much about this water. The water got people in a chokehold. Know what else has people in a chokehold?
What?
Boric acid.
Whoa. The stuff that our grandparents used for roaches?
Food grade boric acid, I'm going to tell you.
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Get a sip, girl, because it's really serious, Tyra. It's really serious. I mean, everyone from celebrities to, the average everyday woman is now selling boric acid on the internet.
I hear boric acid and I think about roaches.
A lot of people do, but they're using food grade boric acid, which is a way to basically eradicate everything that could be wrong in the vaginal canal to allow it to reset. But if you are not replenishing is the word that I was thinking of. You have to make sure you replenish. So probiotics are going to be ideal too. If you have chronic infection, this is what doctors have been prescribing for a long time is boric acid. If nothing gets rid of it. So that you can start with a clean slate. But it's not for daily use. It's not for monthly use. It's just not. It's overused.
So they're misusing it.
Yes, by inserting the suppositories all the time. You're not even supposed to be having sex on it, but they say, oh, we're having sex with the boric acid.
I'm lost. Maybe I'm lost.
Look it up. See.
I seen it. I seen
it's
it on social media, and I said
it's
something like, "No, y'all not putting."
Everyone has a suppository now, and I'm just like, listen, boric acid will not. It won't take away from good hygiene.
Okay.
Your hygiene has to be good. So we're going to start with cleansing. Well, we're going to start with diet. Then we're going to start with cleansing. Clean hands will keep you together. A washcloth is going to possibly transfer fecal matter, make you more susceptible to an infection as well as UTIs. UTIs are not to be played with.
They're not.
And a lot of women deal with E. coli-based UTIs, specifically.
So break that E. coli down. E. coli down for me. Like, break that down for me.
So E. coli is a strain of bacteria that
Right.
actually lies in the in fecal matter, and so it could just be down to thong underwear, because that's a thing too.
Now and so yeah, that I don't know how they wear thongs all day.
It almost
day.
becomes butt floss, just moving back and forth and
you
cutting
can't
into
wear a
the
thong
skin.
with everything anyway, but I'm gonna do a show on proper undergarments eventually. But you can't wear a thong with everything. But go ahead.
It happens all the time, and so when that fecal matter gets introduced into the urethra, then we have a UTI, a E. coli based UTI.
And then once you get older and you're dealing with UTIs like my grandmother,
those undergarments for seniors are terrible.
It's confusion.
Yep.
It's weight loss.
Yep.
There is weakness. Like I literally have to
delirium.
I literally have to put her in rehabilitation for at least 30 days after a UTI, so she can just gain her strength back.
Because usually it goes too far in seniors. That's what it is.
And she never has symptoms.
They can easily just relieve themselves and not really realize how often they're going to the bathroom. You know, that pain and pressure and frequency need to go is a telltale sign.
Okay. Yeah, but she never has any symptoms. I'm like, you didn't feel any burning? No.
Sometimes it's just pressure.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but those chemicals are going to travel right up into the vagina and right up into the urinary tract.
So I am dumbfounded because I had saw it on social media, but I didn't know that it was spreading like a wildfire. Like when I saw the boric acid, I said something, but I didn't think that people was really...
And so many social media influencers are doing it. It's like, what are y'all doing?
There has to be some type of accountability with our platforms.
Not more than a 5 to 7 day treatment for boric acid. If you're giving people a bottle of 30, 40, 60 capsules, you're inviting them to do it every day. Even if it says so on the label, don't do it every day.
But not only that, let's be very clear. You can only be on antibiotics before your body comes accustomed to it.
That's correct.
So if you're taking this boric acid back to back, your body is going to become accustomed to it, so it's not going to work on you anymore anyway.
Well, it does work differently than an antibiotic, and this is why doctors use it when someone is resistant.
Okay.
Basically to give you a clean slate.
Right.
But if you're not replenishing, you'll be right back to needing boric acid again.
So basically, they're taking shortcuts.
Yep.
It's no different than with health and fitness. Some of us choose to work it off. Some of us want to go get nipped and tucked.
The ads say, you want wet, wet? That's what the ads say. Do you want a wetter vagina? Use this.
You could eat some candy yams to get a wetter vagina.
Part of the reason why you're wetter is because it's creating extra discharge to flush out whatever is present.
But who wants to be walking around leaking like a faucet?
You're supposed to do it at night. It's supposed to cleanse out in your sleep. That's what the folks say.
Oh, wow. Child.
And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm saying that it's overused.
Okay.
It's overused. It is one of the things that's overused.
Right. And we have to be careful
Absolutely.
with the information that we put out and the misinformation. There has to be accountability and a responsibility. Well, I done learned a whole lot. We haven't even touched the surface yet. I don't even think it's been 20 minutes yet. And I just learned a lot. I could just ring the school bell and class dismissed because I feel like you bringing the heat, Nakea.
Thank you.
But this is why I wanted this conversation. So you taught us just a second ago how to clean our vaginas.
Yes, clean hands.
Yes.
And a nature-based, anti-bacterial, anti-fungal soap or wash.
Okay.
It is perfectly okay to use those things.
Okay. Now let's talk about, because I'm a wax girl.
Okay.
I like to go get vajacials.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'll help with ingrown hairs and
Yes.
help with the outer appearance.
My skin looks so good now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not itchy. Like, it literally looks good. And I was like, people get facials for their vaginas?
Absolutely.
And she was like, yeah, Miss Sarah. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Well, you can still get blackheads. You can still get acne. It's still skin.
It's still skin.
And it's closed in.
Right.
With things rubbing up against it.
Right.
With sweat.
Yes.
bacteria.
Yes. But I'm just so pleased on how good it looked though. Because the vajacials have really made a difference.
In the skin, in the appearance of the skin.
Yeah.
And look, and what is one of the main things that they do? Steam.
Steam. She steamed me, and she gives me a jelly mask on the vagina.
Oh, I love those
natural. Yes, yes, and then I get high frequency.
Oh,
the
wand.
the bacteria
to keep those ingrown hairs away.
Yeah. Yes, come through. Yes, honey. And so I wanted to talk about waxing versus shaving.
Well, usually that's a personal preference.
Okay.
I mean, there's other ways to remove hair as well.
Okay.
You will be more susceptible with shaving to introducing bacteria and also cutting and damaging the skin.
That was my question.
Because you may not be using a clean razor or the best razor for your type. So I leave hair removal up to the individual, but it's how you take care of the skin after that is so important. So exfoliation is going to be key.
Yes.
Hydration is going to be key.
Yes.
And just making sure that you take care of the skin. The same way you take care of the skin all over.
But that's the problem. They ain't taking care of the skin all over.
I know it's
so we got to teach them.
I know it's
right, right. So I want to talk about the exfoliation.
Yeah.
Because we get our exfoliation gloves. How long should we keep them before we toss them and get a new one?
Well, it depends on what they're made out of.
Okay.
So really like monthly. But if you're using like an African net mesh sponge, they go so much longer.
Okay, so the African
because they dry so quick.
Okay.
The problem is that the thicker exfoliating gloves, they actually are thick, so it takes them longer to dry.
Yes, that's true.
If it dries quickly, then it's less susceptible.
So we need to find an African net mesh.
Yeah, and we have them on our website, the Fresh Net.
Oh,
they're available.
child.
You can use it all over, stretches all over your body.
What?
You can also use it in the pubic area.
Come through, VTox.
Or nice exfoliating scrub. Our VTox scrub is fabulous.
Okay.
I should have brought you some of that.
Oh my goodness! Now I'm coming to the spa because I gotta get my yoni steam on my feet.
Come on.
So when we talk about the exfoliating, and it's crazy because I'm gonna say something that people probably ain't gonna say. The reason why y'all see the skin marks on y'all toilets is because they don't exfoliate their skin.
And also lotion. You know us as black people, we like to be oiled down. So a lot of times it's residue.
Okay.
Residue from heavy oils, creams, gels, butters. That's another part of it.
That's another part of it.
And we just spoke about this on the ride down. Why do people not check before they leave the bathroom? Of what they may have left behind. And tidy it up. That is something I don't understand when using public bathrooms.
Well, that's why I don't use public bathrooms. Let me tell you something about me. I will hold it for hours.
But then you may be more susceptible to a UTI.
Listen, and I know. But honey, I have held it for hours.
I've been there too.
I do not like public bathrooms.
I've been there too.
They're the most nastiest things. And I'm a germophobic. And I have OCD really, really bad.
But now with age, we gotta watch our pelvic floor function. We gotta make sure that stays on intact.
I'm just gonna use the bathroom before I leave and not drink anything while I'm
the
out.
same way.
Because I'm not using a public bathroom.
I hate it. It has to be an emergency.
Yes, it has to be an emergency. But yeah, I just kind of tell my kidneys and my bowels what to do and they listen. I'm blessed like that. Everybody else may not can do it, but they listen to me. I'd be like, nope, we ain't gonna do this until we get home. Right. I wanted to ask you, since we were talking about the soaps and the lotions.
Yeah.
I want to talk about boils.
Oh.
Because I told you we're going down the list today.
Yeah.
Because I suffered from boils. And when I found out I was using all of these soaps, and I'm not going to say the names of these businesses because I don't want them to sue me. But I was using Where Y'all Go, and She Ain't Got No Secrets, and Works, and all of them.
Those fragrance oils.
Yes, and I was catching boils in places, and I'm like, am I about to die? What's going on? And my doctor was like, stop using.
Yeah, it's your body reacting a lot of times to the fragrance. or the parabens or phthalates that may be in those fragrances. That's what it is.
Let me ask you the million
And
dollar
also
question.
women deal
Go
with
ahead.
hydrodentist
Okay.
boils. And so
Okay.
that's a condition that can happen under your arms, under the breast, in the groin area, painful boils and rashes, abscesses that leak. Our Fresh Bar is amazing to help it out.
And remember, when I started dealing with you, I was suffering from the boils. I don't even have boils anymore.
That Fresh Bar, that golden
The
seal,
Fresh Bar
we'll
is
pull it
the
out.
bomb. And I had to change my diet.
Yeah.
Like literally, leave the Pepsis alone.
Yep, that acid
And I'm smoking cigarettes and things of that nature.
My mom was heavy on Pepsi. She used to break out in boils on her hands, on her feet.
It's that
too much acid.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of times, Nakea, since we get into it and we're talking about the acid, a lot of times where you feel the little knots in your breast.
Yeah.
Because, every year I have to go get a mammogram. And so one year my breast was just so tender. And I kept on saying, oh God, here we go again. The first thing you think about is, here we go again. And my doctor was like, are you still drinking those Pepsis? And I'm like, yeah.
They will build
And
cysts.
it's like little cysts, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what made me just cut them out. Because, Nakea, the older we get, the more problems we have.
Absolutely.
And
our hormones are changing.
Our hormones are changing.
Menopause ain't pausing.
Menopause ain't pausing, and life is lifing. Do you hear me? I came to talk about it today. I feel like I need to pass the collection plate. We're going to talk about it today. Menopause ain't pausing, and life is lifing.
Yeah.
Listen, let's talk about, you're so funny. Let's talk about when you have those type of outbreaks like those boils. Some people are allergic to lube. Some people are allergic to latex. So if you're trying to have protective sex and you're allergic to latex.
You know what I find? A lot of people aren't allergic to latex. They're allergic to the spermicide and the lubricant that is on the latex.
No.
Because they'll go to a nail salon using latex gloves and they don't have any reaction.
I didn't think about that. You're so smart.
So sometimes it's not latex. Sometimes, you actually have to get tested to make sure it's latex.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not. It's a reaction to the lubricant or the spermicide.
Shut the front door.
Absolutely.
Shut the front door.
Absolutely. I see that on intake forms all day long.
Shut
and
the
I'm like,
front
are
door.
you really? Are you really?
Are you really?
And sometimes they don't really know. They're just like, oh, anytime I use a condom. So what I suggest is condoms that aren't lubricated and a body safe lubricant of your own choice.
Okay, now that's good. Because I was going to say, what are the alternatives?
Oh, yes. Sliquid Natural Intimate Lube.
Okay.
Joe Aguape.
Okay.
Lube has a built-in probiotic.
Okay.
They are amazing water-based lubricants.
Really?
That are also they're also safe for toys, for silicone toys.
Okay.
That's another big culprit why women deal with chronic infection.
Well, I was going to say because the rose is my best friend, right? Hey.
I've had some coochie crises from the rose.
No.
Some of my clients. Listen.
No.
Listen. Here's the thing with the rose.
Okay.
It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
But teach me, because I don't want to crisis.
You can't use it on freshly bathed skin.
Okay.
Give yourself some warm-up time to just kind of create either some sweat or natural lubricant before using it, or use it with a water-based lubricant.
Okay.
Otherwise, that rubber and that friction will cause you to have blisters and everything. It'll create a problem.
Ooh.
You don't want blisters on your clip.
No. That's painful.
Yeah. Number of clients.
No.
Number of clients. I'm like, I don't even sell the thing. Why y'all calling me?
Right.
I love it though.
Because you the coochie doctor.
I love
it. The natural coochie doctor.
Yeah.
Listen,
you have to use it with lubricant.
So when we're using toys, let's talk about the proper way on cleansing.
Yes.
Because sometimes that bacteria, okay, let's
You'll
talk
get
about
BV,
it.
back and forth.
Yeah, BV, back and forth.
Yeah. You can even put a condom on toys that insert. to make you less susceptible.
I didn't think about that.
But that is a great way. But also cleansing with a antibacterial soap.
Okay.
Or our clean coochie foam.
Okay, and I'm gonna show my my treats later. I'm gonna show them later.
Yep, you can clean them.
Now, if they can't just get to you for whatever reason.
Oh, they can steam it home. They can order on the website.
No, I mean like a soap. I was going to ask you about a certain soap because they're always hollering their antibacterial. Dial.
I'm not a Dial fan for the intimate areas.
Okay.
Right? Dial, as far as a hand soap, does have the proper ingredients. However, with certain types of people that have certain diseases, Dial can be a little strong for them, but Dial can be used to clean toys.
And I asked you that because I see these things on social media. And I'm like, no, just get a refreshed sex bar, natural bar.
But listen, Dial had to rework their chemistry in their lab too.
Okay.
Because some of their chemical components, the antibacterial components, were causing some health problems.
I have enjoyed this conversation. I have learned a lot. And we still haven't even touched the surface. This is part 1 of the conversation. We're about to get ready to have part 2 of this conversation because I gotta go in. I got a whole bunch of questions here to ask CEO and the queen herself, Miss Nakea Murray of VTox Body and Spa Salon, honey, because I just have to get into it. Please don't go nowhere. Thank you for talking with us on today and just listening and learning. If you have young daughters, nieces, sisters, if you're a mom, if you're a grandmother, this conversation is for you. If you came in on the middle of it, go back and watch it from the beginning. You gotta watch part 1 before you can get into part 2 of the conversation. Stay up, stay blessed, and thank you for tuning into the Tyra Hill Show. I wanna talk about it. Let's talk about it, Tyra Hill Show.